Spurs lose 3-0 to Nottingham Forest this afternoon, and it's not looking good. It's not good at all. I only managed to catch, I caught a good bit of the game, but yeah, not good. Not good at all. Lack of urgency, lack of fight, lack of effort in the second half is probably ultimately what cost us the game. But in reality, I think it was a combination of different things. I think it was us not being clinical enough in seizing our chances and taking them on. We had a few chances created in the first half, nothing major, but chances nonetheless. I think that with the facts that I think Shooter got it wrong. I do. He got it ultimately wrong in terms of his setup, in terms of the formation, the players that he was choosing. I don't know what Xavi Simons has to do in order to get a start in the league game when he bossed it in retrospect to against Madrid in the week. He's playing Solanke up top again, going with a 3-4 kind of 2-1-ish formation. I can understand, with the three at the back with Danso, Van de Ven and Romero, but then come like the second half, then we're taking off the likes of Van de Ven and Spence, and then bringing on the likes of Bergvall, who's only just coming back from injury, and a doggy who's just coming back from an injury as well. I think he got that wrong. I do. I think Shooter's tactics and Shooter's formation and lineup to the game, it set us up for failure. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the main reasons as to why we did we didn't turn up. I think fans, from what I saw, looked absolutely insane. So credit to every single one of the Spurs fans that went to the game. It was, from what it looked like, it was unreal. The support was everything up to us going 2-0 down. And then it seemed like but the minute the second goal went in, that was almost like, right, that's it. We've had enough. We can't give any more support. That's what it looked like from what I saw. But anyone who was there or anyone watching this, you might have a different opinion on that altogether. So just going through the game, I suppose, very, very briefly, first half was a hell of a lot better than the second half. Like I said, we seemed like we created a couple more chances, on another day, maybe the cross that came in from against Jesus, who he heads it onto the crossbar. On another day, maybe that goes in. On another chance would have been the penalty claim. The very, very soft if it's given, but we've seen extremely soft fouls being given and goals disallowed for those kind of reasons this season. Most notably against Spurs. So yeah, on another day, look, we could have gotten a penalty. Who'd have known? Maybe that would have Spurs lost on. But yeah, that was pretty much what it seemed from the first half anyways. A couple of chances, but us not being clinical. Second half, I would say maybe from maybe minute 50 to 55, we turned up to maybe go home. I don't think the players, their heads, especially after the second goal, yes, I can understand, heads would get dropped. You've built up this huge amount of pent-up energy, I suppose, in coming to the game and in coming, the pressure to perform. And then when the second goal goes in, after 1-0 down, fair enough, you'd be like, okay, right, we go again. But the second one, I think that was just the gut puncher for the players. I don't think that they wanted to be there. And ultimately then Forest kicked on again and they got a third, which was a savage goal from, from Awoni. It was a class ball in from Williams. He seemed to have a decent enough game all day. But it was a great goal, from Awani. He got it right in behind Danso and slotted it away. He still had a lot to do to finish it, but he did it savage. Second goal as well, I want to highlight. Again, I called it. I knew Morgan Gibbs-White, he was going to score. The goal shouldn't have gone in. Poro's defending on Hudson-Odoi was shocking. Sarr got caught ball watching. He just drifted towards the ball, leaving the gap, and with acres of room for Gibbs-White just to slot it away in. And then Vicario should have probably... His best quality is his instant reactions and instant saves. Look, he probably just got unlucky, with that the ball creeped in behind him. But again, why was Vicario playing? You know, I thought this lad was meant to be going underneath surgery for a hernia. He probably didn't want, he probably just thought push through and that'll be that, and then he'll take the 3 weeks to recover. Would Kingski have done any better? Would Austin have done any better? Probably, you know, we don't know. We don't know. And Johan have touched on the third goal. So look, does this relegate us? Does this performance relegate us? No, it doesn't. It doesn't in my view. I think, does it put us down a peg or two? Absolutely. The only solace that we can take is that West Ham lost 2-0 to Villa, which, you know, we really shouldn't be relying on them to fall down. We should be on us to perform against the teams that are around us. And yeah, I think as a general rule or a general thing, it seems to be that we as the Spurs fans, we're gone. We're deflated, you know, we deserve everything that's coming at us for the amount of hype that Spurs fans put into this game and into all this. Everything deserves to be thrown at us in terms of, you know, being there welcoming the Spurs fans like it's almost like a cup final, or like you know, trying to galvanize them together. And it ultimately didn't matter. It didn't do anything. So yeah, look, this is a hugely disappointing defeat for us. Going into now we have to sit on this now for 3 weeks until we come back again. Does Tudor stay in the job for these 3 weeks? Does he get the sack after today's performance? I don't know. Who'd you bring in? You know, you sack Tudor, who you bring in? People thinking about Robbie Keane, he ain't leaving. You know, if they were, you know, Harry, I've already made my views on Harry clear on this. Would love him, but the man's nearly 80 years of age. Let him off. Ryan Mason, who knows? Ryan Mason, Jermaine Defoe, and